Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new video. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has made headlines for her criticism of the Electoral College. And as a defender of the Electoral College and an election-based channel, I thought that I would look into her claims and try to reason them and debunk them if necessary. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Here she goes. Due to several racial disparities in certain states, the Electoral College effectively weighs white voters over voters of color, as opposed to a one-person, one-vote system, where all of our votes are counted equally. Now, I'm not sure where she gets this from. There is not actually any correlation between red states and blue states in terms of race. 8 out of the top 15 states with the highest minority populations voted Republican, where 3 out of the top 4 states with the highest white populations voted Democrat. Okay, here she goes again. I see Fox News is big mad, about abolishing the Electoral College, so let's talk about it. I don't know why she's so obsessed with Fox News all the time, but it is what it is, and big mad? Again, this is Congress. You're supposed to be speaking proper English. I don't know what the hell big mad is. I think she's trying to pander to the younger voters in her district, but nevertheless, that's beside the point. Then she goes on further. If the GOP is the silent majority they claim, they wouldn't be so scared of a popular vote. Actually, I don't think that the Republican Party is scared of a popular vote. There's plenty of Republicans in places like California and New York that don't vote because their votes don't count, but probably would turn out to vote in a popular vote-based election. And campaign strategy for both parties would be vastly different for a popular vote election, and Trump would campaign in places like New York and Los Angeles, where he never even touched in 2016. She then goes, they know they aren't the majority, they rely on establishing minority rule for power. Well, neither party holds a majority of members in this country, as independents exist as well. Still, the Electoral College was put into place by our founding fathers so that 51% of the country would not be able to push around the other 49%. It makes it a fair fight. In fact, it's your party, the Democrats, that are trying to change the system because they've fallen so out of touch with ordinary Americans that they need to push for things like open borders, government benefits, and altering our Constitution just so that they can win presidential elections. She then goes, this common claim about if we don't have the Electoral College, then a handful of states will determine the presidency is BS. Okay, nobody is claiming that a handful of states will determine the presidency under a popular vote total. In fact, that's not the case at all. A few cities and metro areas will select the president. Look at this map here. Over a half of the US population lives in the blue area. The other half lives in the gray area. I don't think that the blue area should be able to override and control the decisions for the gray area, which is where the Electoral College comes in to provide a compromise to ensure everybody's voices, no matter where they live in the country, are heard. It has nothing to do with a state-by-state basis. She then claims it's the Electoral College itself that breaks down power by state. Popular vote decentralizes it. Well, actually, that's not true. The population is just centered in a few metro areas. The Electoral College breaks down power by state, but does so proportionally to each state's population. For example, California has a lot more electoral votes than Wyoming, for example. Then she says the Electoral College makes it so that a handful of states do determine elections. Okay, well, again, her grammar is not the greatest, but I digress. Yeah, certain states do get focused on more, but swing states are always changing. Arkansas and West Virginia were swing states in 2000, so was Oregon and Colorado. Ohio is moving towards safe state status, as well as potentially Virginia. And the states that are focused on are numerous, and swing states are found in all parts of this country. You have swing states in the South, like Texas, Florida. You have swing states in the Midwest, like Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin. And you have swing states in the West Coast area, like Nevada and Arizona. So again, I don't see what she's trying to make out of this, but okay. Then she goes, lastly, this concept that the Electoral College provides... Apparently, I don't know, she needs to go back to school because ever since she fired her communications director, her grammar on her tweets have just been terrible, but I digress. The concept that the Electoral College provides fairness to rural Americans over coastal states doesn't hold any water whatsoever. First of all, virtually every state has rural communities. New York, California, much of our states are rural. Okay, here's where the lack of intellect really starts to come in. Yes, New York does have rural communities, but when 50% of the state population is in the New York City proper, it virtually has no impact on the way the state votes. 90% of California and New York's population is either urban or suburban, whereas 60% of Wisconsin's population or 50% of West Virginia's is. So the fact that New York and California have rural communities in them is irrelevant to the discussion and just makes her look foolish. Then she goes, "We do not give electoral affirmative action to any other group in America." Is she talking about rural people? Is she talking about whites? I'm genuinely confused. Yet the Founding Fathers put this system into place to prevent a tyrannical takeover implemented by the majority of coastal elites. This had nothing to do with race whatsoever. It was never a problem until Hillary Clinton lost. That's all this is coming from. It has nothing to do with the Electoral College at all. It's the fact that Hillary Clinton lost. And then she goes, "Do black Americans have their votes count more because they have been disenfranchised for hundreds of years? Do reservations get an electoral vote? Does Puerto Rico and U.S. territories get them? No, they don't." Well, first of all, if you were black and born after 1947, then you never would have been disenfranchised at the polls, but that's beside the point, as well as the fact that U.S. territories are not states and therefore have different jurisdiction levels. They do not get to vote. Again, that's all beside the point. It's clear she's just race baiting here. Why would any other group have advantage over another? First of all, the Electoral College doesn't even give whites an advantage. Once again, there's little correlation between minority population by state and that state being red or blue. Texas is a majority-minority red state. Vermont is the second whitest state in the union, and it's solid blue. And it doesn't even give Republicans an advantage either. If John Kerry would have gained 120,000 extra votes in Ohio, he would have won the presidency while losing the popular vote. If Mitt Romney would have gained 5% in every state, he would have won the popular vote while still losing the Electoral College and thus the presidency. Her last point here: the Electoral College isn't about fairness at all. It's about empowering some voters over others. Every vote should be equal in America, no matter who you are or where you come from. The right thing to do is establish a popular vote, and GOP will do everything they can to fight it. Okay, again, Cortez decides to make this claim that the Electoral College is unfair while disregarding the fact that it was more of a populist measure put forth by the Founding Fathers in order to stop the coast from controlling the lives of Middle America. It was also a compromise. The other option would have been to give the states the same amount of voting power, and number of states would decide victory. That is also a dumb idea in my opinion, and the Electoral College is the perfect compromise between the two. Any other different notion fails to be grounded in reality, but I wouldn't expect much from Miss Cortez. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. Please give this video a like, comment below what you think, and make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video, and also share this video on social media, post it on Reddit. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.